Hello, my name is Prime, and welcome back to a special episode here on the Prime Simulation channel, as today I'll be completing two special deliveries, one here in ATS to start, and then I'll hop over to ETS2 in the second half of this video, completing deliveries as part of the Pinktober 2025 event, with the goal of raising awareness for breast cancer. And so in this video, both of my trucks will be adorned with this special pink ribbon paint job, which you can get for yourself if you purchase the official Pink Ribbons charity pack for ATS and or ETS2, with 100% of the proceeds going towards cancer research charities selected by the developer of ATS and ETS2, SES Software. I will have the links for the DLCs down in the description below if you feel like checking them out and supporting a great cause. So to start off here in ATS, we are in California, more specifically down in San Diego, and we're going to be hauling some guardrails or some other parts for them, at least in our box trailer, up to Oxnard. So not a crazy long delivery, but as I said, you're getting a 2-for-1 here in this video. So without further ado, let's get our Kenworth T680 Next Gen started up and get on the road. All right, let's get rolling. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I certainly am. It is great to be back here in ATS and then of course into ETS2 a little bit later on in this video. And Pinktober is always something I like to try and get around to doing a video on, and I believe actually last year I may have actually missed it in full transparency, but there were other things going on outside of YouTube content creation that unfortunately stopped me from making a video, if my memory serves me correctly. But I'm trying to make up for it this year by doing a 2-in-1 video, and something you guys like to enjoy as well. So hey, killing two birds with one stone. But the main focus here is Pinktober event overall, or I guess more the initiative for October that SES Software puts on the community, and something I'm more than happy to support because once again it is for a fantastic cause, raising awareness for cancer research, and in particular breast cancer research. Always fantastic to see, and I'm always very, very fortunate to be able to support it. So on top of the Pinktober initiative for October, there's also another community event happening right now, actually, as I speak. That is the Halloween event for 2025, but this one is a little bit different than before, which is of Breckenridge, if I'm getting that correct. I may have just completely forgot the name of that. But anyways, this particular community event is actually very similar to how the recent Christmas events have been going, because there is a completely other magical world that we get to deliver to as part of this event. And for those who are wondering when I will do a video on that, well, you may or may not just have to wait for Halloween itself. I am going to be doing a special for Halloween, to no surprise, and you'll be able to kind of see that going on there. But if you want to try it for yourself, of course, that community event is going on right now. There are some personal rewards you can get for the Halloween event. There's a certain amount of deliveries you need to complete, and of course, and we are mightily speeding here, hard on the brakes. Oh man, lots of weight coming down that hill, and I was not pressing on the brakes very hard, but we're okay. We're on the crosswalk, but there's no one around, so I'll just I'll just wait here and call it good. There's some personal rewards obviously you can get. There's community rewards once we cross over, I believe, 1.5 million deliveries. I do believe, if I'm correct on that, it could be even a little bit larger than that now. Again, lots of great things coming up this time of year with special events, different content overall for both games respectively. But over here on ATS, there's a few key things, as far as I know, that we can kind of look forward to here from potential, map DLCs or other content and so on for the game. SES Software always has something up their sleeves, and you know what? We just have to wait and see what specifically they may be. But there's reworks on the go. There's so many things that, you know what, maybe we'll get to have them at the end of 2025 here, but if not, into 2026 is going to be really, really good overall. So let's hop on the highway here, back into T680 Next Gen. Fantastic newer truck here for ATS. Can't really complain if you ask me. And if you're wondering what some of the sounds are in this video, I do have the engine and transmission compilation mod installed in the profile, so some of the engine sounds may be ever so slightly tweaked when it comes to this T680 next gen. It's not as significant as some of the other engines and truck combinations here in ATS. Some of those get significantly modified compared to some of their other counterparts. This T680 next gen doesn't actually have too bad of engine sounds, all things considered, so it's actually not half bad in terms of what the mod has to do. It does help it out a little bit, just mainly some turbo noises and so on, that it just gives it a little bit of an assist on, makes it a little bit more. I should have just stayed in the left lane because the right lane is ending, so we'll get back over here. Gives it a little bit of an assist on that. So if you're wondering, that's where it is. Again, the link for that will be down in the description below as well. So here in ATS World, there's a lot going on, my friends, from the Route 66 rework to other, of course, map DLCs coming up in general, Louisiana being kind of the front runner at this point, but then, of course, Illinois and South Dakota all in the works as well. Very exciting times overall. And can we expect to see another map DLC into the fall here of 2025? I think so. I think there is a great possibility of us getting Louisiana, but maybe that's just my little bit of optimism there in terms of the timeline of a release. It'd be great to see. Is it fully realistic? I do not know. On the ETS2 side, and I'll talk about it a little bit later in this video, though, there's most likely a pretty big map DLC release in Nordic Horizons coming at that point. But again, I'll talk about that in a few moments' time when we're in ETS2, but even still, there's that release as well. So it really depends on what, you know, the capacity is for SCS Software moving into the fall here in timeline. How many major launches do they want to do on top of other content for the games? I'd like to see more trucks coming here to ATS. Different branded trailer packs would be absolutely fantastic as well. We can't forget that we have Project Road Trip on the go for ATS as well, albeit that one is probably more a little farther out. We've actually got to get over. We're not trying to go to Long Beach. Here we go. Cut that a little close. We've got Project Road Trip and, of course, the various car packs that are going to be included. Well, I shouldn't say included. Various car packs that will be made available that will unlock Project Road Trip for ATS. There's a lot on the horizon, and it's just a matter of what time it will come out. Again, I'd like to see some major content come in 2025, the end here. I think it will. I truly do think it will, but if not, spring of 2026, or just even right into the new year, I have a good feeling that there's going to be some pretty major things for the game. Again, just have to wait and see specifically what they may be. But moving into, of course, this holiday season, you can expect a bunch of different content from me, of course, depending on what some major releases are as well. That will dictate some of the content, but otherwise, I'm going to be definitely expanding a number of things, and we're also significantly encroaching on a major milestone for the channel. I'll be talking about that though in probably only a couple episodes to come now, based off of how things are growing around here on the channel. So keep an eye out for a very special video coming soon on that front. There's just a number of other things going on as well that just make, between ATS, ETS2, and other simulation games alike, there's a lot of great things coming up in the fall here. Of course, there'll be some changes in terms of my availability to make content, because for those who may not know, this is not a full-time position. However, there are going to be some changes for the better that will allow more content to come, and of course more frequent content to come, and just different types as well. So that's going to be really exciting. It's definitely an exciting time to be kind of going into, and again, we'll just have to wait and see how everything plays out. So it looks like we're getting very close, and actually many of these roads we have not driven on here in ATS before, and I may have done it a little bit on a personal side, but as far as I know, here in ATS Showcases, we never driven through here because of how the GPS is looking, and I must say it looks absolutely wonderful. Of course, all of this area being reworked in recent California rework stages. It just looks incredible, and it's really, a testament to SES Software and their dedication to the game. The fact that, well, all of this was completely reworked for free. Any owner of ATS and any future owner of ATS can experience this. Any future owner of ATS will probably just think that this is how the game has always been, and you know what? Fair credit. But for those of us who have been here since the very beginning, or for even the last few years, you will know that California definitely was a little bit lackluster in terms of how things were and how it looked in the layout and so on. That is no longer, my friends, and that is absolutely fantastic. And that's, again, just part of the testament that SES Software did not make us basically purchase a brand new state DLC, is how the rework stages went. The California rework project pretty much turned everything completely upside down, if not deleted it and then started fresh. So there was, again, no stone unturned, and we gotta get, or we gotta exit, but then we gotta be in the left lane. Go this way, right? Yep, we do. Make sure we're going the correct, actually, did I just go the wrong way? I think I may have just went the wrong way. And sure enough, I have, because, well, I'm Prime Simulation, and when could I ever navigate anything's well anyways? But let's take a little bit of a detour anyways. We're not going to try and go backwards, nor am I going to try and cut that out and just say that that never happened, because I know there are some people that would. But I am not that kind of person, and I am not afraid to, well, just add this to the massive list of different blunders here on the channel. Well, there you go. Another short moment for you at some point in the future. Here you go. This is just gonna happen because that is, again, the Prime Simulation way of doing things. I will admit there's been a lot of news on the ETS2 side, maybe not as much here on the ATS side of things, but things generally balance out over time. And admittedly, over the last few months, it's been very ATS heavy, from specific blog posts on South Dakota, on Illinois, on Louisiana, to other rework projects and bigger announcements, to even something like the Iowa DLC and so on. There's been a lot of, information regarding ATS prioritized over ETS2 with all respect. The tides have almost turned a little bit here for this quarter of 2025, and it's going to be interesting to see over the next coming weeks and months if that state remains consistent, or if, once again, that changes. And then we've got to get over here. We're going to let the Mustang go by us, preferably a little bit faster. Thank you. You are in a Mustang. You could probably move over a little bit faster there, bud, than what you were doing. But that's okay. AI at its best, let alone just other drivers. As I was saying, it's a little bit quieter at this point, so in terms of other content, so on, and what I can talk about, well, we're going to get a little bit more into more situational things per se, and different looking ahead, which I know a lot of you enjoy my 2 cents on things about the game, so let's talk about that a little bit. On the ETS2 side of things, if you have been following around the channel for the last little bit, you'll notice that the DAF XF Electric came out, another electric truck for ETS2. That kind of begs the question on the future of ATS and potential electric vehicles as well. Obviously, this is something that is a bit of a touchy subject in many respects, because to be honest with you, electric transports in North America are definitely not as common, nor are they really being used for, any form of significant delivery network, other than I do believe like PepsiCo has a few electric trucks that they're trying to work out at this point for some shorter, like, in-city deliveries, basically from a distribution center, and that's about that. So the infrastructure in North America for electric trucks and the adoption of them is definitely polar opposite, shall I say, to how Europe is embracing them and starting to really almost lean on them a little bit in terms of promotional sense and, of course, use case as well. So obviously in ETS2, having the likes of the Renault E-Tech, the Scania BEV, and the recent DAF XF Electric make a lot more sense, again, even culturally as well. I've talked about it in the release of the DAF XF Electric. Culturally, Europeans are more apt to lean towards electrification than a large majority of North Americans. You can argue either side for being for or against, and of course there's everyone in between. So when it comes to the ATS side of things, the reason why I'm talking about this is that DAF is owned by PACCAR. PACCAR, unless if I am completely messing this one up, they own what I'm driving here today, a Kenworth. So they own Kenworth, and they also own Peterbilt as well. So as far as I am aware, these same or very similar electric drivetrain that's in that DAF XF Electric is being used in some of the Kenworth and Peterbilt variants of their electric trucks that are starting to demo and kind of roll out around the country, particularly in the US and North America as a whole. That one is kind of interesting then to say, could we expect to have electric trucks sooner than later in ATS? To be honest, I do not know. I really do not know. In terms of priority for ATS, and this is just my personal view, maybe speaking more about electric trucks and vehicles in general, I would prefer to have something like a box truck or different rigid trucks in American Truck Simulator sooner than electric trucks. Say what you want about it. I know rigid trucks is something that is being talked about on the ETS2 front. Once again, haven't really heard anything at all on the ATS side, but rigid trucks do exist over here, and a lot of them. Obviously different box trucks, flatbeds, tankers, you name it. Rigid trucks are around quite a bit, and I feel like that would be a higher value addition to ATS, more so than an electric truck right off the bat. Now, are there some pretty cool electric trucks that you could get in terms of just having more options? Yes. Now, if they were ownable, maybe I would not be so far against it, because obviously for those who may not know right now, any form of electric truck in ETS2 is only available through quick jobs. So here on ATS, that would be the same thing, unless if something miraculous happened. The electric trucks, if they were to come in, would only be available via quick jobs. So it means that we have no customization. You can't own them. You're just taking a delivery up to a certain distance that is set by the game and how long the deliveries will get. And that's that. So that definitely pulled a bit of the peel on the ETS2 side out of the electric trucks. I talked about it in recent videos. Here on ATS, I feel like that would be the same problem, especially when you have that, in some ways, cultural divide and how, accepting electric vehicles are. So again, I feel like electric trucks, they're just not as common here in North America yet, and probably not as high a priority for SES software, unless if the various brands they are working with are trying to push them incredibly hard and would like to basically see them in the game and work with SES software on that front. Now that could happen. And again, it'd be a new truck. I would overly complain. I would definitely not complain if they were ownable. Otherwise, though, there are so many different models, even for existing trucks, that would be great to see. We talk about the Peterbilt reworks and so on. Obviously, we have the new T680 Next Gen, but we talk about Peterbilts for ages. We're going to probably still talk about it. SES Software is working on it. I am very sure of that. If not, I'm sure they are trying to work on it, unless if licensing is holding them back. They're going to do what they can do, and I have trust in them. But in terms of other trucks, obviously we have plenty of other brands here that exist in ATS, let alone other brands that could come in technically, or at least, especially if they did the rigid trucks, you could have some other brands as well. But even for the larger trucks as well, there are a handful of others that could potentially make it into the game. Again, maybe you're getting a little bit too nitty-gritty now with a lot of the more major brands in. There are some other ones, so I do think Autocar is another one that, although a little bit more of a, they have more classic models, I'd say, and they still do have some out and about, maybe not as prevalent. Again, there's some other models, though, I think is the biggest one that we'd like to see more customization, besides reworks of existing brands and models in the game. There's just a lot more to kind of look at there. And we'd like to see them. Of course, different branded trailers. That would be great as well. When will they come? We do not know. Again, it's just a bit of a matter of time, I feel, on a lot of that in terms of branded trailers and more trucks. Intermixed with the map DLCs, I just think it's, again, a matter of time for some of that to enter into the game. They will come at the right time. I am sure of it. All right, and there we go against the bump stop at the back. And in doing so, that marks the end of the ATS leg of this Pinktober event. So without further ado, let's take a trip across the Atlantic and hit the roads in Europe. And just like that, welcome to ETS2, and more specifically here in Greece. And we're going to head across to Mytilene, hauling some containerized trees in our box trailer with this Volvo FH6, of course painted with the special Pink Ribbons Charity Pack paint scheme, or at least one of them. So without further ado, let's get this Volvo FH6 started up and get on the road. All right, let's get rolling here in ETS2. So, the story continues here with the Pinktober event for 2025, the second half. I kind of like these combination videos, honestly. Gets a little bit of best of both worlds of ATS and ETS2, and of course, showing off the charity pack for each deal or each game, respectively. The two DLCs, of course, once again, all proceeds for the Ribbons Charity Pack event or Charity Pack DLC go towards breast cancer research foundations, charities. Absolutely fantastic and a great cause to support if you haven't picked up the DLCs already. So we'll get on the motorway here because it won't be taking too long, and then we'll be heading down to the port and we'll be getting on a ferry and then heading across to Mytilene, if I say that correctly, which I may not, to be honest with you. It's going to be wonderful. I haven't actually been to that island yet here in the Greece DLC. A beautiful DLC for ETS2, I must say. Well, obviously, being the newest one, but again, absolutely fantastic. Just lovely detail all around, and you can't complain with some coastline, at least not in my opinion. Obviously, being in California and kind of going along more of the west coast of the USA in the first half of this video, and then over here in Greece, two great regions of the world and some beautiful scenery to go along with it. But as I touched on briefly in the first section of this video, here in ETS2 has definitely had the lion's share of news recently, which is great to see because, again, ATS had admittedly a lot of the market on SES Offer News for quite some time over the summer, and of course we had news on different Scandinavia reworks, and we got a little bit of a deadlock here. You gonna go, Kart? The bus either the bus has to go or the car has to go, and you know what? I was technically in your intersection. That's how I'm gonna call that, okay? Oh man, the AI at its best. Someone just has to go at that situation. I don't know what the tour bus was doing. Definitely wasn't, or not even a tour bus, just a coach. Don't know what it was doing, but it sure wasn't doing what it was supposed to, that was for sure. Anyways, there's been a lot of news here on ETS2 now, and of course, I'm on the wrong side of the road, don't know what I'm doing. I'm not in the UK. Let me try and get this out before I somehow interrupt myself again. there has been a lot of news, and of course the reworks that are undergoing right now, Benelux, Scandinavia, and then of course the DLCs that are going to be coming out. Well, one coming out very soon as far as we can tell, which is Nordic Horizons, which is extremely exciting. Obviously, we've had gameplay videos on that. There's been more teasers and extra content on the Nordic Horizons DLC that lead us to believe that it's going to be coming extremely soon. Obviously, the Scandinavia rework is also seemingly making great headway, which would assumingly be coming out in the update before the the Nordic Horizons DLC. So that's again very exciting to see. More content here for ETS2, always great overall. We've had new trucks, the DAF XF Electric, which thank you to everyone who enjoyed the first look video on that, and for all the comments and different interaction on that video as well, in terms of your thoughts on the trucks and so on, and your opinions on it. A lot of us had the same feeling. It's the fact that it is honestly a great truck to drive. Some people's cup of tea, some people's it is not, but to each their own. As it is the market of ETS2, you can select what trucks you want to drive, and obviously, especially with the quick jobs as well, not a whole lot of consequence. Okay, truck just cut right ahead of me. That's all right. It's not that I was there either. Gee whiz. Gotta love it indeed. But as I said, back here in Greece, which is fantastic, I've been touching on this region as well. It's a lovely region of Europe, and we're going to be spending a lot of time in more of the northern section of the ETS2 map, among, of course, Nordic Horizons, the Scandinavia rework. Even Benelux is more central northern in terms of the overall map. Then, of course, Iceland DLC down the line as well. A lot of exciting things. Project Coaches on the horizons too. There is so much content for ETS2. A lot of things that we can be excited about. And then of course there's the truck front. Yes, there's probably... are there more electric trucks that could be coming out for ETS2? I don't know. Comment down below what you think on that one. I mean, obviously, we have the Renault E-Tech, we have the Scania battery electric vehicle, or BEV, and then we have the DAF XF electric. Surely Volvo has one as well. So I feel like that could be a good option in terms of having another electric vehicle or electric truck, sorry, here in ETS2. And what is Mercedes doing? Do they have an electric transport truck? Or just a newer truck in general? Surely they have a newer transport in general compared to the version here in ETS2, correct? Comment down below on that one. Honestly, I'm not as up to date as I would like in terms of European truck knowledge. I try to keep up as best as I can, but it's not always possible given, you know, just spread across multiple games. And of course, it's not a particular region of the world that I live, so I'm not always up to date with all of the brands going in and out of these regions. Either way, comment down below what you know about that. I'd love to know. But there's a lot of different models for the existing brands that could be done, of course, than other just general improvements to trucks as well for some of the ones that haven't been touched for a while, but not just newer models of them, obviously, which would be, for the most part, what would be expected at this point, just bringing in the new models and moving on. Again, it'd be great to see. We've had lots of trailer packs released for ETS2 to date, and I'm sure more are still on the way. Other branding content as well, which is exciting. The future is looking really bright for ATS and ETS2, but specifically here in ETS2, especially for the end of 2025. There's some pretty major releases, as far as we know, along the way, of course, with the rework of Scandinavia and Nordic Horizons, seemingly targeting end of release, or end of 2025 release. There's a lot of exciting content here for ETS2 and things that I think are going to make great additions to the game. Of course, what's going to happen in the 1.57 update? Is that mainly going to be the Scandinavia rework? It very much could be. The odds of 1.57 being the precursor to Nordic Horizons is pretty high. It is pretty high in at least my point of view. Given everything going on, I feel like it could be, and it could be coming by the end of this year. At least I'd hope it would. But again, we'll have to wait and see on that front. Only SES Software knows, and we can just make our best guesses and wishes on when it may come. But you know what? Again, we just have to wait and see what time has to offer. And of course, I'm going to be doing more content here on ETS2 as well. And that truck up ahead is going very slow. I don't know if he's just struggling up the slight incline here, or if he's just reluctant to go over 40 kilometers an hour on an 80 road. I'm not too sure, but we are exiting up here, so I'm going to just be patient, as hard as it may be, and hunker down in this lane. Either way, it is just going to be fantastic to see what happens here in ETS2, and I'm going to be doing more content, of course, depending on the different major releases that inevitably come for the game, and just more regular content as well to talk about too. This video is, of course, a little bit different, maybe a little bit more lackluster, shall I say, in terms of commentary, just because of the event that I'm doing right now, and just what we're doing in terms of raising awareness, driving a nice bright pink truck for cancer research is such a lovely cause, and something that I always want to do. And admittedly, it would have been nice if we would have had just a little bit more news, or more recent news to talk about, other than just some of the community events, which, although are great, the Halloween event isn't maybe as big a piece of news in having a DLC being confirmed, or a release date to talk about, or something like that. But that is okay. We go with what we have, and I try and give my thoughts in the midst of it. And I've given my thoughts a lot, and I will continue to give my thoughts a lot, because you all enjoy it greatly. And what are my thoughts about ETS2? As a whole, really excited for what's to come. That's, in maybe some ways a silly answer, because of course most players are excited for ETS2 to come. But I genuinely am, because there are so many great and possible expansion rooms for ETS2 as well, and some intriguing options as well in terms of where SES Software will go next with the game, let alone rework projects. One of the biggest things more recently is a teaser, seemingly, of the UK rework, which has been a long-awaited request from the community, and something SES Software has been well aware, but for whatever reason has left it for a long time. Most likely just to make sure that they could get the quality of the UK up to a standard that they want. Waiting for their processes and so on to kind of develop with some of the other regions to make sure they absolutely nail the UK region in one go with the rework. So that is very exciting as well. Again, it was just a teaser, but all things led in the teaser was pretty obvious for talking about the UK, and honestly not quite sure what else they would be talking about, to be completely honest with you, given what the teaser was kind of all talking about, what they were hinting at. So again, very exciting times to see where that one goes, and what kind of details and new gameplay mechanics as well could be coming in future updates for the game as well. That's another part. Of course, we have Project Coaches in the works for ETS2, which is going to be quite revolutionary in terms of how the game operates, or at least can operate if you pick up the DLC, the different coach buses that would be available to purchase. Of course, as of right now, we know of Scania, we know of, I believe, Volvo as well, or at least MAN. There's some different options there, at least, that will seemingly be involved. I guess Scania is one of the main ones that are talked about at this point, but I do believe that MAN and Volvo have been kind of hinted out from other teaser shots, if I remember correctly, or maybe I'm just speaking things into existence. I don't really know. Either way, great to see what Project Coaches is developing into, and we'll just have to, again, wait and see how things develop in the near future. And of course, looking into 2026 and beyond, it's kind of hard to believe where ETS2 could go, considering, well, this game came out in 2012. And thinking where it was in 2012 versus it is where it is now is pretty incredible in terms of how the gameplay is, in terms of course, map and expansion, but just quality overall. It's pretty impressive to see where the game has come and where the potential for it to go still rolls. And, you know, there's been a lot of talk about the game engine for ATS and ATS2 and just how efficient it is, or maybe in some ways the lack thereof, when it comes to graphic performance and so on. There have been some improvements, obviously, over time, but I'd like to see in some newer updates coming out more improvement in terms of the engine and bringing the ceiling up in terms of what quality can be pushed in the map DLCs and game overall, while not hampering or significantly hampering performance of the game itself on various degrees of hardware, basically. And I feel like a lot of that could very well be coming because of consoles as well. Now, yes, the console build of the game is quite different, don't get me wrong, and the SES software game teams are definitely, the programmers got their work cut out to make sure that the console release of ATS and ETS2 work the same way as what they know and love in the desktop version, or at least computer version in general. But that doesn't mean that when it comes to the consoles that some of the game engine could be adopted that would be the same across, and that improvements in more efficiencies in graphic performance could be directly related to the development that was made for the consoles. So I would hope that there could be some correlation in that, and would hope to see that. But again, I guess maybe time will tell to see if that actually happens. Let's pull onto the ferry. Drive slowly, but we're going to basically floor it. I could have done that. It would have been actually kind of funny, to be honest with you. But we're going to pull up here, right into the heart of the ferry. And we're going to head across to an island. All right, we are on the island, and it has gotten a little bit darker. We're into the evening times here. So let's explore this beautiful island while we are here, because, well, never been here yet. And all I can tell is, my word, does it look beautiful. Look at that. Sunset over the water. Just beautiful indeed. As I was saying, ETS2 has come a long ways, right, from 2012, and if you would imagine that we were looking at the same game in 2012 at this point, I don't think we would have been anywhere close to what the landscape, of course, the lighting is the biggest change, in my opinion, besides overall quality. I feel like the lighting engine rework that happened, well, quite a time ago, I believe that was what really took ETS2 and ATS to a entirely other level in terms of its potential for just viewership in the game itself. You know, the quality of the maps are one massive point, and obviously nothing to, there's a vehicle there. That's a hard corner to see. With how the trucks work. Sorry, AI. It's definitely a major part, don't get me wrong, but the ambient lighting of ETS2 is something to behold now. So now paired with the quality of the modern DLCs, it's just absolutely stunning. And I know many of you who are fortunate enough to witness some of these regions that, you know, I may not be able to witness myself in real life. I know many of you have commented on how incredibly realistic it does look, and how excited you are when looking at screenshots even to be able to hop in and explore maybe your hometown or other areas that you grew up visiting all the time, and different regions like that. that is definitely an exceedingly exciting prospect of the game, and one that the lighting I think really has a big play in. It just makes it feel more realistic, which then adds to the level of quality that's in the DLC itself, and removes some of the, well, more just standard game elements of it as well, and making it more, again, as a proper simulation, not just in terms of gameplay, but also in terms of visuals as well. The lighting off this paint job also does some pretty interesting wonders as well because of, well, the bright pink when you get some sunset on it. Pretty incredible. Thank you, bus. I guess you're waiting for me, which I'll take that any day as we navigate these streets. And honestly, I'm probably absolutely butchering some of these intersections, but we're just rolling through it and hoping that no one crashes into me, which is a decent way for me to try and navigate stuff, honestly, because half the time I'm hitting someone. So if I can just try and navigate without hitting anyone in the games, then I think that is a pretty good win overall. But some of these intersections where they're fairly blind and they just have a, well, basically a yield situation or like a priority one way or the other, I always get scared that the AI are just going to fly out of the other side and, you know, take me out on basically T-bone me on the corner. That is always my fear. I don't know, maybe I'm just a little bit skittish that way, but when I'm not as comfortable with some of the intersections, particularly here in Europe, it definitely adds to the whole thing. And we're making our way up the side of the hill here. Dare I say a mountain. We're gonna work our way up here, and I'm assuming the view from the top is going to be truly stunning as the sun beams through the trees. Again, it just is so incredible to look at the DLCs now. Service center here. It's just so incredible, the detail level, all the little bits and bobs around the map that just make it feel so incredibly realistic, besides vegetation and so on. The lighting, again, as I said, it's just beautiful. And it really makes me want to visit some of these regions in real life, to be able to actually see what it's like, not just virtually in ETS2, with all respect to the game. I want to be able to see some of these in real life as well and compare it to, you know, what I've seen here. Now, if I have to be able to only do it in ETS2, so be it. That is how life may go. But I'm going to do my best, oh my word, to see it in real life, especially when looking out over a road like this. This is stunning. Yeah. This is what we know and love from SES software now, my friends. The quality of these DLCs are unlike anything other, in my opinion, that you can see across many games, especially for the price point, all things considered. It's just incredible to see. I love these more scenic areas of DLCs. So many, you know, especially in, well, select DLCs in particular recently, although the quality was definitely high, some of the DLCs can get a little bit more highway laden, motorway laden, where it's just point A to point B, you know. And of course, it's all based off of what the local region has to offer in terms of logistic networks in general, but some of them get pretty laden with that instead of more the country roads, the more scenic roads that cut across different areas and really show off the charm of the region itself. And that's where I really enjoy something like the Greece DLC here, where yes, there are major roadways that go across the country. There is no doubt about that. But it's the islands, the different coastal areas as well, that just add something to it, that there is no comparison, in my view, to some of the other regions that are just simply more urban or you know, highway laden. That's just my 2 cents on it. You can have your opinion on it as well, but I just love the Greece DLC through and through. Probably one of, if not the greatest DLC for ETS2 ever. I know that's easy to say when it's the newest in terms of quality, but I genuinely believe that it will go down as probably one of the best DLCs ever for ETS2 in terms of its just visuals and the different dynamics that you can do with the islands and so on. It's incredible. Let's try and pull in here though and deliver this trailer and wrap up this wonderful video composed of both an ATS and ETS2 section for Pinktober 2025. And yes, it's been, you know, a little bit hit and miss on the commentary and so on. And of course, hop into the community Discord if you haven't already. I know a lot of you have been joining, and thank you so much for the interaction there. But put a picture of your truck in the pink livery in there and enjoy the event. And of course, show off and spread awareness for this wonderful cause overall. Gonna roll up around the side of the building here and figure out where we gotta park this thing. Probably went the wrong way, honestly. Don't really know, actually. Yeah, I probably could have cut across a slightly different way, but we're gonna come through here, around the building, and down around the side. I think. There it is. I should have come around the silo that way. Okay. Well, let's turn around here and then come back the way that I probably should have done it. Go the other direction. Oh, man. Turns very quickly. I think I got a steerable axle on this reefer trailer. Oh, my. It's going everywhere because I kept rolling. This is what happens when you play ATS and ETS2 back-to-back, my friends. Yeah, steerable axle on the trailer, and I hit the fence. Well, that's lovely. Let's see if I can pivot all the way around. Take advantage of this FH6 steering angle. Yeah, it's fantastic. The rotation on these trucks in ETS2 and just Europe in general, I love them so much compared to North American trucks. Yeah, thank you, proximity alarm. Go off after I hit the building. Ah, good. Well, you know what? Again, I go wrong way in ATS, and then I hit things here in ETS2. Well, what else do you expect from me or a prime simulation? It's just one blunder after another, and that's why you keep coming back, I'm sure, half the time. A little bit of entertainment never hurts everyone. And I can tell you this time, this was not a, well, shall I say, more relaxed, purposeful incident. Each of these were just a genuine, slightly distracted Prime's moment, and there you go. That's how it's going to be. And of course, can't even park it straight here in this point. But you know what? I think it'd be okay because they could take out these trees, no problem, anywhere around here. So we're going to call it at that. Thank you all so much for watching this episode overall. Pinktober 2025, a wonderful thing to raise awareness for breast cancer research. And be sure to use the Pinktober 2025 hashtag to share your Pinktober trucks across social media. And of course, hop into the community Discord if you're not there already and show off your rig there as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.